Tell me about it, I said quietly. He drank his whiskey quickly. It was not his first drink that day. I met Muriel a year and 3 months ago, he said slowly. We married 3 weeks later. I loved her a lot, but, well, I was stupid. Here I am. I've got a good job, a pretty little wife. So what do? He looked across the lake at the Kingsleys' house. I get into bed with that Kingsley cat over there. Okay, she's as pretty as Muriel. The same long yellow hair, same eyes, same nice little body. But she's nothing to me. But Muriel knows all about it. So we had a fight, and that night she left me. I went out, and when I got home, there was a letter on the table. Goodbye, Bill, she says. I don't want to live with you after this. He finished his whiskey. I didn't see the Kingsley woman again. She went down the mountain that same night. And not a word from Muriel now for a month. He turned and looked at me. It's an old story, he said. But thanks for listening. I put the whiskey bottle back in the car, and together we walked round the lake to the Kingsleys' house. I looked round the house, but there was nothing interesting for me there. Perhaps Mrs. Kingsley went away with your wife, I said to Bill Chess. He thought about it for a minute. No, he said. Muriel never liked that Kingsley cat. We walked on round the lake. There were only 2 other houses, and there was nobody in them. It was quiet and clean and beautiful by that lake, away from the hot, dirty city. We stopped by an old boat and looked down into the water at the fish. Suddenly, Bill Chess caught my arm. Look, he said, look down there. His hand was heavy on my arm, and his face was white. I looked, and about 10 feet below the water, I saw something yellow. Something long and yellow. It moved slowly through the water. A woman's hair. I started to say something, but Bill Chess jumped into the lake and swam down under the water. He pulled and pushed and quickly came up again through the water. The body followed him slowly. A body in red trousers and a black jacket. A body with a gray-white face, without eyes, without mouth, just long yellow hair. It was not a pretty thing, after a month in the water. Muriel, said Bill Chess. Suddenly, he was an old, old man. He sat there by the lake with his head in his hands. It's Muriel, he said, again and again. Down in Puma Point Village, the police station was just a one-room little house. The name on the door said, Jim Patton, Police. I went in. Jim Patton was a big, slow man, with a big round face and a big slow smile. He spoke slowly and he thought slowly, but his eyes weren't stupid. I liked everything about him. I lit a cigarette and told him about the dead woman in Little Fawn Lake. Bill Chess's wife, Muriel, I said. She and Bill had a fight a month ago, then she left him. She wrote him a letter. A goodbye letter or a suicide letter. I don't know. Jim Patton looked at me. Okay, he said slowly. Let's go and talk to Bill. And who are you, son? Marlowe. I'm a private detective from L.A. I'm working for Mr. Kingsley. He wants me to find his wife. We We drove up to the lake with the doctor and the police boys in the back of the car. Bill Chess was a very unhappy man. "You think that I murdered Muriel?" he said angrily to Patton. "Perhaps you did, and perhaps you didn't," said Patton sadly. "But I must take you down to the police station, Bill. There's going to be a lot of questions." Chapter 3. Al to Mildred. I had dinner at the hotel in Puma Point. When I finished, a girl came up to my table. I didn't know her. She smiled at me. "Can I sit with you for a minute, Mr. Marlowe?" she asked. I got out my cigarettes. "Word gets round fast in small villages," I said. "What do you want to talk about?" She smiled again. "About Bill Chess. Do you think he murdered Muriel?" "I don't know. Perhaps. But I'm not interested in Bill or Muriel Chess." "No?" The girl put out her cigarette. "Listen to this, then. There was a Los Angeles policeman, DeSoto, up here about 6 weeks ago. Big man with a square face. Said he wanted to find a woman with the name Mildred Haviland. He had a photograph with him. We thought the photo was Muriel Chess. Okay, the hair was red-brown, but a woman can easily change the color of her hair. Nobody here liked this DeSoto, so we didn't tell him anything. What do you think about that?" I lit another cigarette. "But I don't know a Mildred Haviland, and I never heard of Muriel Chess before today." "Bill Chess isn't a bad man," she said quietly. "We like him, and we don't think he's a murderer." When she left, I found a telephone and called DeRace Kingsley. His answers to my questions didn't help. No, he didn't know Muriel Chess very well. Yes, his wife was friendly with Muriel. No, he didn't know a woman called Mildred Haviland.